Hey, how's it going, everyone? Tom here. And today I want to talk to you about how to get customers to buy now, not later. So, a lot of people come to me often, and the struggle is not enough sales. And a lot of times that has to do with the way the offer is being presented. And I typically see that there's like a disconnect between what the person thinks they're selling and what the potential customer is seeing. And that's the reason they don't buy. So I'm going to kind of break this down today. We're going to talk about the language of need. We're going to talk about selling to people who get the joke. And I'm going to cover three kind of psychological triggers that a lot of slimy marketers will use nefariously and a lot of amateur marketers will use inappropriately, but that are really effective. And doesn't matter even if you're the customer, you know what these are. You'll still be convinced by them. That's how powerful they are. So again, which is a word of warning, use with care. And that's all I got to say. You got the rest. All right, so let's get to it. First things first, why do people buy? Why do they buy things? And you could group this down into two main categories. People buy things because they need them or because they want them. So here I have the brain representative of brain surgery. When you need it, you need it. And versus the selfie stick. Nobody ever needs a selfie stick, right? Ever. Never, ever, ever do they need a selfie stick. Not like they need brain surgery, right? But of course, when we zoom in, there's a lot of nuance there, right? So I want to zoom into need first. And so people buy based on needs because they need their problem fixed right now. And that usually falls into two categories. I need to get somewhere. I need to go from point A to point B. I need to get to point B, or I need to get out of where I am. Again, it's still a movement. It's a transition. And people are either really trying to get to that further point, or they're just trying to get out of wherever they are right now. And so when people are trying to get to a further point, I call that kind of the bridge solution is what you would be offering, depending on what you're selling, right? But if you're selling to the person who wants to get over there, the only offer that's going to work is the bridge solution. Here's how to get over there. Okay, so those are things that accelerate results, that help people achieve more, become more. You know, this is the fruitful things that can happen if you get over there, right? Conversely, I need to get out of here. That's the painkiller solution. If somebody's struggling with back pain or any kind of pain, it's probably like, I need this pain to stop. I need to get out of it. Or I'm not able to afford paying my mortgage. Need to get out of that. I need to get out of bankruptcy, or I need to get out of all these, like, lots of the obvious ones are bad things happening and people want to get out of them, okay? But there's a lot of in between, right? So you do not have to make a case, and this is important. You don't have to make a case for the problem existing when you're talking to these people who have that problem, that they have that need right now. I need to get over there. I need to get out of this situation. You don't need to convince them that they have the problem, okay? The customer knows it exists. A lot of marketers, a lot of people who are trying to sell something think they need to convince the person that they have the problem. And then a lot of stuff just gets wrapped up in that. And I'm going to make a case that that's not a good way to do it, okay? So the other reason people buy is because of a want. But what I want to clarify here is I'm not talking about want like, oh, it would be nice to have this thing. Like I want, oh, that would be nice. I want that. But it would be nice to have kind of way. That's not the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about is, here's something that I think I will need in the future, but maybe I'm not quite where I should be to be able to leverage that or take advantage of that. Or another way, I need to get out of, wherever I am right now, but honestly, I'm so far back, I got to deal with these other things first. Or these other things are more urgent or important. And so this is the differentiation I'm making here in terms of, like, because want can be misconstrued. A want can be something as superfluous as that would be nice to have, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the wants where people actually consider, where it would be what is effectively a future need, where they see that this could be something that they need in the future, but right now it's not top priority, right? So we can't influence why people would need something. Like, we can't turn a want into a need, right? But if somebody wants something and sees it as a future need, then we can influence that. So with the right positioning, the story you tell, the case studies you're sharing, you can make a case that point A isn't far off. If they're like, oh, I need to get from point A to point B, but I'm not quite at point A. Well, with your marketing, you can make a case that, no, actually, even though you're not at point A, you're close enough where this would work, right? Okay, so now you can kind of influence the timing of that need. The future need is not that far off, actually. It's more current. It's right now, actually. And the other way to think about it is that if your solution be the fastest way out of point, say W, right? So I need to get out of where I'm at. Okay, well, and you're thinking, well, you have all these other things you got to deal with as the customer. It's like, well, what if this other thing that you see as a future need is actually is going to hurt you if you wait too long? Okay, or actually you're not that far away, or actually this solution would help you move past those other problems as well, right? So now all of a sudden this is the way to think about selling. You're either selling based on a need, like a very obvious need, or a want, aka a future need. So in either case, it's still a need, but the need is either evident right now, need it and gotta go right now, or I'll need it at some point in time, and right now I'm not quite sure. So those are the only two types of sales I'm talking about right here, because I don't believe that you can actually influence somebody who has like a want that's very trivial, like it would be nice to have, into anything legitimate. I don't think there's much there for you. There's much meat if that's what you're trying to get at. A want becomes a need based on timing. The wants I'm talking about, the wants that are future needs, they become needs right now based on timing. And through your marketing, you can influence the perception of that timing. From want to need, how do we go from want to need? Because if you're selling the need and the person has the need right now, you don't have to do much marketing or selling. It's like, oh, you have back pain? This is a back pain relief product. Boom, you're good to go. But when it comes to future needs, there's more variables. There's more things that have to be considered. There's more, is this the right time? Is this the right price? Is this the right person? All these things that are factoring in to the person making that purchasing decision. So here's a great example, I think, that kind of elucidates what I'm trying to explain here. No one needs to play guitar, okay? But there are a lot of people who do want to play guitar. And those who want to play guitar need to learn how to play chords, okay? That's where the need is. So the need isn't that they have to play guitar. That's nobody's need. But for somebody who wants to play guitar, they need to learn the chords. And so this is a great podcast to listen to. Make a note of it. If you go check out my interview with Charlie Wallace, who runs a 7-figure online education platform directed at guitar players. It's Guitar Mastery Method. So you can check that out too, and that'll be in the notes as well. And on the interview, it was really fascinating. We talked about how he was able to market and sell his online education, his first digital product, his first info product, and how that's grown into a 7, and I think, moving into 8-figure realm here. And I'll tell you what, you listen to the podcast, lots of great takeaways, honestly. But here's one big one that I'm going to extract for today's conversation for this video. What he's not doing is trying to convince people they need to play guitar. Okay? He's only targeting people that are interested in playing guitar, who want to play guitar. And then once they know they want to play guitar, and that's a genuine want, it's a real want, I do want to play guitar, this is something I very much want, then they will see the needs that are in front of them. They need to learn chords, they need to learn all this other stuff. I'm not a guitar player, I can't even make great examples out of that, but you get the point. You don't have to convince somebody of the thing you're selling, like, you need to play guitar. That's not what I'm getting at here. But once somebody identifies the guitar as something they want to play, then what you're going to be helping them understand is that they need to learn how to play the chords, and then this would be the best possible way to learn chords. And this even applies to pure entertainment, because entertainment plays become needs for your target customers when enough people like them start talking about it. That's why I'm so big on trying to kind of dominate niche markets and be the only, dominate the space and be the market leader, if you can. And so think about the long tail. Go back, watch the last couple of videos I've done and my other topics, other videos I've done on long tail and niche marketing. But if you can zoom in on there, then you can figure out, okay, there's the niche market is much smaller than the broader market, right? But if you can get enough people talking about something within a network, then eventually everybody's going to be talking about it, or enough people where everybody will feel the need to take part in that conversation. Then they're going to want to buy the thing or take a look at the thing, or I'm guessing in most people's cases, they never actually watch the movie or buy the book, but they'll still reference it. And hey, maybe that's good enough for your purposes, right? Okay, so again, today's conversation isn't about entertainment, but know that entertainment even becomes a need once you reach that kind of tipping point within a network. So now let's talk about marketing to people who get the joke. Just like you can't convince someone to think something is funny, you can't convince someone they need something, or even influence them into needing it. That's not real. That's fake marketing. Anybody who's trying to do that is a phony, a snake oil salesman. Oh, you don't have this need, but I'm going to make you think you have this need, and trying to influence it. So I guess it could work, but it's not sustainable, right? It really is not. And just I guess trying to convince something that something is funny, which does happen all the time in our society for sure. at the high level propaganda level. For sure it does. People are laughing at things that are funny all the time because other people have told them to. But I really think that if you look at the core, the truth of it, nobody laughs at something if they were being honest with themselves and people were around watching them and it wasn't something that they should be laughing at, then you find that they'd only laugh at jokes that they think are funny. When you're alone and you're watching a comedy movie, you're only laughing at the things you honestly think are funny. You're not pretending to like them for somebody else. The same goes for needs. The customer either does or does not need what you have to offer. They either need or do not need your solution. Your job as a marketer is to tell a story that fits what your customer already believes to be true in this moment and then provides a clear path forward. And then you can influence the perceived timing of that need. Like, is it, oh, wait, actually, I need that sooner rather than later. And I brought back this picture again, that beat up car that's going to get you from point A to point B. The person who's going to buy that car is a very different person that's going to buy the Ferrari. In either case, they both are modes of transportation. But the person who walks into a Ferrari lot is not trying to get from point A to point B, all right? They want something, and then within that want is a need. And in that particular need, it's like, I want to be at the top of my status hierarchy, and so I need the most expensive car. Here's the great thing about marketing to people who get the joke. When you do, it attracts the ideal customer, and even better, repels people who are not a good fit to begin with. Everybody's trying to just get more and more and more. I want more customers, more subscribers, more leads, more traffic, whatever. More is not the solution for you. I promise you that. Better to just target. If you could get 100 or 1,000 customers, probably all you need. And I'm not talking about the 1,000 true fans thing. That's not what I mean. But consistent clients or customers, you only probably need 100 to 1,000 to run a really healthy 6 to 7 figure business. Most businesses are like that. And maybe that's enough. And at least at this point, if you're not there yet, so I'm guessing most of you who are listening to this are probably in the 6 to 7 figure range, getting there or trying to get to that 6 figure range. And so the thing I'm trying to tell you here or share with you is that you do not want to try to attract everyone. Even if you could get everybody, pointing to you and sharing your stuff. If Facebook sent all the traffic your way, how much would it help? 99% of it then wouldn't help at all. It's just that 1%. So how do we just find that 1%? Well, the 1% gets the joke, and that's who we're selling to. Okay, you're walking onto the Ferrari lot. It's not about point A to point B. I don't have to tell you why you need a new car. I'm going to tell you why this is the most expensive, best car for people who want to spend way more money than other people on a car. Okay? That's the need. I can address that if that's what I'm selling. And that is exactly what I would be selling. I'm not going to try to sell them on, oh, this will be great for, even turning corners or something like that. Nobody cares. Like when you're going to buy a Ferrari, nobody cares about that. Not even probably a top speed, unless that's part of like the status hierarchy thing there as well. And I'll give you an example. When I was just getting ready to build build a new closet in our house, I was putting everything together and I realized, I'm trying to get these edges lined up properly and I have no tool for it. So I've been using a hand sander to whittle like 1/2 inches down and stuff like that. And it's just brutal. So I searched it and I found, there's a tool called a planer that would do that in like 2 seconds. So now all of a sudden, I didn't really know that existed, but I didn't know my pain exists where I'm like, there's got to be a better way. I did some searching and I found it. Oh, there's a tool that does this. Perfect. I'm going to go buy that now. It's now a need of mine because I realized that will save me time. Like I could have considered that purchase and said, oh, maybe I want to save the $50 that I spent on this thing and spend it elsewhere. But at that point, I had already thought about it, how long it was taking me. Nah, I just need this thing. I'm going to go buy it now. So the point is, by speaking to the person who needs it, nobody was trying to convince me that I needed a planer tool. Nobody was creating content to do that at all. It was like, here's how to use a planer tool, or here's how to get rid of those edges, right? A problem that I had. And then, now here's a solution. You can do it by hand, or I could use a tool. Now, all of a sudden, that's speaking my language, and that's something that I'm going to be interested in buying. And, of course, did end up buying. And what a time saver. If you talked to me a week ago, this would not have been a need of mine. It doesn't matter what content would have been out there. Wouldn't matter what deals you have going on or any of that stuff. I wouldn't have thought about buying a planer or whatever you call it. But now that I had the need, now I wanted to buy it. It's just as simple as that, right? So when you market to people who get the joke, the sale is much, much, much easier. Okay, so now I want to talk about 3 psychological triggers that get people to buy now, not later. Okay, so understanding that you're only marketing people who get the joke. So they have a need, and the need is either like dire straits right now, or very soon I will need this. Okay, that's what we're talking about. What will influence those people, especially specifically those who are I believe I will need this in the future. And they're trying to figure out when is the right time for that purchase, or they're still considering things like that. That's the person who has a deep want, and that want is really just a future need. We can influence that future need. We could bring that future need up to a current, right now need, okay? And we could do that through how we market and copy. We're still marketing to the person who gets the joke, right? And we're still talking to the person who has a need. But what we're saying is this person who's on the fence sitter, has a need in the future, they think. And what we need to do is bring it back to right now, why they would purchase right now. So one of those triggers you can use is urgency. It's a very simple one. Time is running out. So if somebody's considering something and you put, say, one way to do this, and here's an example, like GIF I have here, just a countdown timer. You put a countdown timer on something and it's legit, like it's actually going to go away. We're only talking about real urgency, the stuff I'm talking to you about right now, these aren't tricks. And so the point is you put a countdown timer on something, it should actually count down to something and then be removed and eliminated. And if that's the case, then that's real urgency. Like, you have to get your application in before the deadline. Otherwise, we're not accepting the application. Or how about when you've had to write up an essay in college and it's like, this is due tomorrow. You got to pull an all-nighter, write it, and get it done and submit it. Otherwise, you fail. That's real urgency. And you know what? I've finished countless essays and am a better person for it because of deadlines. Because there's an end point where if I do not do it before then I may never do it. I mean, there have been 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 essays I probably would never have written if I didn't have that final crunch time end point. Even if I could have done better about, managing my time to get it done sooner, it was that final date that forced me to submit the essay in on time, right? And so I bring that up because human beings, we like deadlines. It's actually helpful for us. And so don't think that this is something like you shouldn't do or you can't do. But you want to think about how you can implement it the right way for your customers. And maybe that's for a specific marketing campaign. Maybe it's for a specific promotion you're doing. That's fine too. It doesn't have to be all the time. But when it's appropriate, adding urgency can move that person who thinks, oh, there's a future need amend. And then it's like, oh, wait a second. This is the last time I'll be able to get this and whatever this offer is. And maybe there's some reasons that this thing is going to expire, whether it expires forever or for another 6 months, and I'm not sure where I'll be in 6 months. I want to get it now. That could be one thing, kind of like a closed cart type situation. Could be pricing, could be bonuses. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Any of these reasons. The point is, when it closes, that's it. Somebody can't get in anymore. That's urgency. That gets somebody who's on the fence to consider buying now. Okay, so that's number one. The second psychological trigger is scarcity. So only one more spot left here. Or, hey, there's only a few more spots remaining. You see this all the time when you go to buy a plane ticket online, right? So I just took a screenshot here from Delta, and it's like just searching some random flight from somewhere to somewhere else. And what pops up? 2 left of this price, 1 left of this price. Another one on another, part of it was sold out. So it's like all of a sudden, if this is a flight that I really needed, then that's going to influence me to buy now. If I'm like months and months and months out, and it's maybe like a want as in, oh, it'd be nice to travel to Florida for that weekend, then that's not really what we're talking about. But the need of like, oh, I kind of need to get to this place. And now they're considering, so they're going to buy a ticket at some point in time. Now when it says, hey, there's only 1 left, guess what? I'm pulling the trigger. I'm not going to wait. If it hits all the other, criteria I need, I'm going to wait to see if I can save a few bucks. If there's 1 seat remaining, like it doesn't seem like that's worth the gamble if like the dates and times and all these other things line up, right? So when you only have so many seats available and those seats are dwindling, the person who's on the fence is going to consider buying now because they want to be in one of those seats. Okay, so a simple, countdown, seat availability is, one good way. Like it could be countdown on a checkout cart, on a sales page, something like this that shows, oh, there's only this many remaining. Or even in email marketing, reminders. So we have 1 more slot left in this group before we're moving forward, before we're sold out. All sorts of ways to implement this. And again, if you're not using scarcity, you don't have to use it all the time. You could do it for certain marketing campaigns or promotions. A great way to do it. And lastly, exclusivity. This is the third psychological trigger, and this one works really well. It kind of works in conjunction with urgency and scarcity to a degree. But exclusivity. Only people who buy now get X, Y, or Z, whatever that might be. So some things to think about is it could be access to you, one-on-one access, maybe access to a specific course or a specific product that people would normally have to pay full price for. But because they're buying now, they get that as a bonus. Or I put that actually below there as bonuses, just bonuses in general, because there's a lot of bonuses that aren't access related. But the point is, access could be one of those things that you include. If you buy now, you get access to this private community. You get access to me. You get access to something special, right? You get that golden ticket. Discounts. The exclusivity of the lifetime discount. You buy now, your price is locked in for life. All right. That's really compelling, especially for early adopters who take chances on things. Early adopters love getting a locked in discount for life. And anybody who rolls something out and doesn't do something like that is just missing the boat wildly. There's so many great ways to apply that. And now if you're established and it's not like, oh, this isn't an early adopter thing anymore, you could still consider it. And that could be things like, well, if you're going to increase the price in the future, you can lock in the price now. So again, discount now, like lifetime discount, that's a way to think about that. That would be exclusive for those who act now, okay? And then bonuses. Bonuses can, as I mentioned, be a whole lot of things. It could be that access, that could be the discount. Well, I guess discount wouldn't be so much of a bonus, but access to you, maybe a one-on-one coaching call or something like that. That's a bonus. Other bonuses, complementary products and services. I could do an entire video on bonuses. Again, if you guys are interested, leave a comment and let me know. But bottom line is there's all sorts of ways that you can influence somebody who's on the fence to move over the fence and buy now. And so on the bonuses front, it could be things like what helps somebody get started faster, what amplifies their results, what makes their life easier if they do buy. Like, so these are things that you can overlay on top of your offer. And so that if somebody's like, well, I know that will be a need of mine in the future, but I'm not sure if it's a need for me right now, but there's a discount going on right now. That discount's going to expire soon. And I'm going to get these 10 bonuses that make my life easier, help me get better results, minimize my downside, maximize my possible upside, et cetera, et cetera. Now people are buying right now. And that's what gets people to buy. This is the very simple stuff. Anybody can implement this stuff. It takes some tact and some nuance to do it appropriately and to do it right, but know that this is the foundational stuff. All right, so in summary, people buy things they need, and marketing can influence the perceived timing of that need. So is that need in the future, or is it actually closer than I thought before? Is it actually a need that's right now? Your marketing can influence that and change the way people think about that and understand their own problem. That's where marketing can influence greatly. And that's really powerful. So basically what you want to be doing is think about how can you change the conversation into this would be, I will need this in the future, or I will come back to this, to you can't wait till later. It's got to be now. You could do that with marketing copy and how you position things. So the second thing is life's better when you sell to people who get the joke. I can't tell you, this is golden advice. And I hope you keep thinking about this, and I'll keep bringing it up because I think when you sell to people who get the joke, life's just easier. You don't have to be clever. You don't have to be creative. You just have to state the truth and then help people move from point A to point B. You already have the problem. You know you do. Here's a solution for you. Here's why it'll work. Here are people who are like you, who have had that same problem and don't have that problem anymore because they use my solution. Now, all of a sudden, you don't have to be creative or clever. And that's like 99% of people get stuck on copy and marketing because they're trying to be clever. When it's like if you're just talking to people who get the joke already, know they have the pain, they recognize it, you just have to make a very simple, clear-cut case for why this is the right product, the right solution, why you're the right person to offer it, and why now is the right time. It just simplifies everything. Life is just so much better when you sell to people who get the joke. And lastly, if your sales still aren't where they need to be based on those two suggestions, consider including or implementing these 3 psychological triggers, okay? Urgency, scarcity, exclusivity. All sorts of ways you could do this. It doesn't have to be broadly for your whole business. You have to do this all the time. I like to leverage these in the context of launches and marketing campaigns. And when we're doing a big promotion or we're doing a big event, then I love to just layer these things on top. Because if I'm doing a ton of work to drive a ton of traffic, tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of people coming to my page or coming to my website to check something out, guess what? I want to do everything in my power to capture every person who has a need now or in the future. So these 3 things would help to move somebody who thinks the need is in the future, who is on the fence, get them to buy now. That's the bottom line. And in the end, then being better for them because now they have the solution. They're good to go when they actually do get to that point. Or the bonuses and all these other things you've included help them get to that point where, okay, now they can use your solution to solve that problem. All right, so that's it for today. Join the newsletter. Go to tommorkes.com/newsletter, and I'm going to start emailing and sharing these out as I do them. So that's the first place to go if you are not already a newsletter subscriber. It's totally free, tommorkes.com/newsletter. Second thing is sign up, subscribe, whatever on YouTube. Go to tommorkes.com/YouTube. make sure to subscribe. That's what I want to see here. So that way, when I do publish a new video, hopefully you should get notified. I don't know. There's a lot of ins and outs to YouTube that we'll figure out together. But make sure you sign up there too. And the last thing is leave a comment. What are you selling and to whom? And what's the joke that they get that others do not? So what's the joke that they get that others do not? I.e., this is the reason people buy from you and not someone else. So this is what I wanted for this exercise. I want to make sure you understand the marketing to people who get the joke thing, all right? Because I think that's actually critical. I think your results will just skyrocket if you start marketing people who get the joke. And then these other things just will overlay on top of it and improve your results. All right, that's it for today. Peace.